Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back to Law and Order Legacies. So it's been a day, I've slept, and that means I pretty much don't remember what has happened so far, but I don't think too much actually has happened. We've just interviewed the babysitter and she's given us some new lead. These stories...
I'm sorry I wasn't much help to you last night.
We're going to interview the wife now.
Please call me Ellie, and I apologize again in advance.
Still
I'm going
getting
to
the
have to
audio
cut this short
glitch.
when Noah wakes up at 3:55.
You've got him on a schedule?
It's the other way around. Wait and see. You could set your watch by him.
Interesting. So, I really probably can't even complain about this game jumping from scene to scene, just showing these interview sections, because I literally have seen Law and Order, a few Law and Order episodes. I'm no expert by any means, but I've seen them where they will cut to a scene, have 3 lines of dialogue, and then cut to the next scene. A lot of fade-ins and fade-outs to stretch for time. A lot of oddly shot things. It seems almost like they don't do redos. Instead, they just write new scenes and new interactions. It's a very oddly written show, come to think of it. So, let's ask about missing personal items, which is, how do we even have this line of dialogue? Like,
was your husband missing anything when you found him? Any valuable personal items?
His wallet?
Was on him. $8 and a MasterCard.
His Rolex.
Did Van Buren ever even mention a Rolex found on the body? I don't know. I guess this is where the transcript is really going to come into helpful. Let's see. Is that we'll just have to go through all of this. Something curved like a scythe. No fingerprints, blood on his clothes. But there was bird blood on him. Like, there was no mention of a Rolex at all. Did Van Buren ever mention a Rolex on the body? No.
No Rolex on the body.
I gave it to him on our 10-year anniversary. It's engraved. He always wore it.
So that's interesting. So, let's go to her history.
Anything you can tell me about your husband's background?
He had a poker problem in college when I first knew him. Junior year, I had to cover his student fees because he gambled away the money his parents gave him. Of course, that was 15 years ago, but I worried maybe he was falling back into old habits.
Interesting. Now, we also know that she had him on a tight leash with money.
Your husband was a writer.
Oh, maybe I've read some of his work.
I doubt it. I didn't mean that the way it sounds. You don't by any chance subscribe to the Metamodernist Quarterly.
So your husband wasn't about to become the next John Grisham.
Wasn't that difficult for you? I mean,
references
in a regular income?
Famous writers.
I believed in my husband's work,
Famous
detective,
writers.
and thankfully my income was sufficient to support both of us comfortably. I'm principal at PS 84.
See, and here, if you're not in New York, you may not even know that PS 84 is like public school 84. You might just be scratching your head what that even means. I suppose we're just going through everything.
Your nanny.
Ada Marie Velasquez.
This may be an indelicate question, but your husband never
Neil liked to flirt, but he wasn't a cheater.
You're sure?
I know what goes on in my house. I'm sure of that. And I installed a nanny cam to make extra sure.
Nanny cam. Interesting. So now we can get to Neil's allowance, but we're gonna go through everything. It's weird.
Any idea what Mr. Jensen wasted your money
You're
on?
not really
God knows.
unlocking
Like I
your
said, he was very
past as much
closed-mouthed
as
about
you're
his
just
research expeditions.
eventually getting done. Do I believe her? Let's say. No. I think she thinks that he was gambling. The nanny indicated that Neil had a gambling problem. The nanny was definitely blackmailing Neil. Eliari states she feared Neil's gambling habits were coming back. Ellie is the school principal. Therefore, we can trust her testimony. Wow, there's some real flaws in logic here. Like, trust every single principle.
Any chance it was something illegal? Drugs, gambling, or maybe he was being blackmailed?
Here, chicken.
What's that noise?
Our chickens. Henny, Penny, and Maxine. You've never seen chickens in New York?
Well, sure, but they usually come with biscuits and a side of mashed potatoes.
You're behind the times, officers. Urban farming is the wave of the future. Fosters a connection to the earth. Plus, once you've tasted homegrown eggs, those watery factory-produced things just make you gag.
Interesting and ridiculous. There's not enough area space for chickens. While chickens take up considerably small amounts of space, not that much. There's still not enough area where there would be grass. You can't raise chickens on the roof of a building. You wouldn't be allowed. Let's ask about chicken blood now.
One of the things we're trying to make sense of here, Ellie, is we found avian blood on your husband's clothes.
Avian?
Bird blood.
I know what the word means. It's just very odd.
That's what we thought.
Maybe your husband slaughtered a chicken for dinner last night?
I don't think so. He doesn't take much of an interest in them, to be honest. They're more my thing. He only helps out when it's something I can't bring myself to do.
Interesting.
Do you know where your husband went last night?
I have no idea. He left the house around 9, said he'd be back late, and I shouldn't worry.
But you did.
Of course, but no more than usual. This was par for the course for Neil. When he's working on a new story, he'll go off on research expeditions. Often at strange hours, sometimes for days at a time. And he never talks about it till he has a rough draft on paper. Doesn't want anyone to influence his thought process.
So this is looking odd. Like, just the fact that we've only been interviewing 2 people so far pretty much eliminates her as a suspect, just for gameplay reasons. I don't think anything she said contradicts, so I'll say that. Ellie was vague on whether. Ellie said Neil left at 2 p.m. He died at 9 p.m. Ellie said he left at 9 p.m. He died at 4 a.m. More than enough time to be attacked. This is the right time, but you would have to be paying pretty good attention here with the different numbers. Of course, there's nothing else going on in this game, so you probably should be very capable of paying attention.
We heard something about you.
Otherwise,
your
you may have very well have just given up by now. And here's the thing that is kind of irritating me about this game is that I look at every single game on howlongtobeat.com, which is not a very accurate system, I'm coming to learn, to tell you how long on average it will take you to play the game. And I suspect so few people have actually played this game that the numbers are skewed heavily. I imagine a lot of people simply did the first episode and then never went back for any more. He was pretty pissed that she cut off his allowance. No, I don't believe her. That's the right one. Good job,
Who
detective.
told you that, Ada Marie?
We're not at liberty to divulge.
She's alluding to the fact that I took Neil's name off the savings account last week. I didn't enjoy doing it, but...
Yes?
When Neil was in research mode, he spent money. Well, recklessly. He'd get so caught up in his work, prudence would go out the window. I used to put up with it, but new babies are expensive.
Yeah, I don't know how you take somebody's name off a savings account. Like, it seems almost impossible, would be my guess. You probably would have to make a new account, transfer the money over, because banks are very uncooperative about that kind of stuff. Once you have access forever.
About those chickens of yours, what do you mean when you say Neil would do the things you couldn't bring yourself to do?
Well, Raccoon's got one once, and he cleaned up the mess, but that was ages ago. And I made him get rid of Roger last July.
Roger?
A cockerel. He started out as Rebecca. See, keeping hens is perfectly legal in New York City, but it's against the law to keep a rooster.
Makes sense to me.
We raised our brood from chicks. And of course all chicks look alike. They're sexed before they're sold, but the process isn't foolproof. We bought 4 hens.
And one of them turned out to be a rooster.
Right. By the time we found out she was a he, I had grown fond of him. I didn't have the heart to get rid of him myself, so I made Neil do it. But like I said, that was practically a year ago.
Do you know what he did with it?
He took it back to the farm we got it from, in New Jersey. Cora's Cluckers. I can give you their number. They know us there. There goes the alarm.
3:55.
What'd I tell you? Right on schedule.
Such ridiculous writing. So, we did everything. I think we may still be on 100% correct so far. I don't know if there's any achievements for this game, but
Writing in your diary?
It's
probably
not a
shouldn't
diary.
be.
It's a journal.
What kind of journal?
None of your business. Did you call Cora's Cluckers?
Yeah, she remembers Neil Jensen. Said he never brought her any roosters.
She's sure?
Sounds sure. Matter of fact, she was away at the state fair on the day Jensen supposedly brought the bird in.
So he lied to the little woman, huh? The victim had a questionable character.
Imagine you're a husband, and not the most responsible husband in the world.
That's quite an imaginative leap.
Your wife gives you a live rooster and tells you to take it by public transportation all the way to New Jersey to get rid of it. What do?
You sure as hell don't take it all the way to Jersey. I dump it in the closest spot I can find and go catch a ball game.
Right. And there's only so many places you can take a live chicken if you're too squeamish to kill it. Huang's Live Poultry, 152 Barry. Just 6 blocks from the Jensen house.
Yeah, let's check them out.
What a terrible waste of a detective's
Farm animals
work.
in the middle of Brooklyn. I've lived in this city my whole life, and it never ceases to surprise me.
Like,
Oh, we serve everyone here. We got
clearly this
kosher
is
for
another
our
example
Jewish
where if they had
clients,
just
halal for the Muslims.
And if I'm in the mood for pork
had
chops,
a standard
got a
officer
Dominican
in uniform
covers all
officer
bases.
cover
Mind if we
the
ask you a few
beat
questions?
and
Okay,
search
but
and
be
question
quick.
a bunch
The dinner rush is gonna start any
of
minute.
these stores that potentially exist. Like, you wouldn't just have the detectives Google the first one that's closest to their house and then check it out, because they're more than likely is way too high of it wasting your time. Like, The story here is making the detectives seem like they are only working on one case at a time, and they have no backlog whatsoever, which is ridiculous, particularly in New York, where they're probably hugely overburdened in crime cases. Let's see. Let's ask for ID.
This guy ever come in here?
No.
Look again.
Mr. Huang, I thought you said you serve everyone here. How can you be so sure you haven't served him?
What I mean is everybody but wasps. His type usually like their meat wrapped in plastic.
Okay. Let's just go down the line.
You slaughter your animals here on the premises?
Sure, naturally. Look, my client wants to come in, select an animal, and take home the meat the same afternoon.
Does your client generally want to watch the slaughter?
No, that's against policy. Our abattoir's a separate space in back.
Past the plastic curtain.
Correct.
Is it important to look at the abattoir? Well, if they're doing halal and kosher, that means somebody has to be watching them to make sure they're doing it right. I'd say yes. It's important to look at everything if you can. An abattoir is a likely place for a knife fight. An abattoir is a fun place to spend a Saturday afternoon. Abattoir is a likely place to get a sample of avian blood. You're not going to do DNA matching on birds. If Huang doesn't want you to see what's back there, it must be worth seeing. I'm going with this one. Nope. And you can't. You just can't make up for it. I'm really hating this strike system. It's not fun at all to just be told you're wrong and then moved forward. It's like taking a test in school. It's just like, you're wrong, you're wrong, you're wrong. You get an F. You're done.
How many employees you got?
6. 3 in front, 3 in back.
You look into their backgrounds before you hire them?
They're all citizens, detective.
You sure about that?
Listen, I serve immigrant customers, so I hire immigrant workers. Good workers. Just because a guy wasn't born in this country, does that make him a murder suspect? That sounds like racial profiling to me.
What terrible writing. Is there anything odd in what he says? Said? No. Missed that one too. What was I supposed to catch there? Now I think I'm not paying enough attention, and this might turn out to be incredibly annoying if I have to replay the entire episode from the beginning.
We'd like to take a look inside your abattoir if you don't mind.
Out of the question.
We're investigating a serious crime, Mr. Huang.
And I'm running a business. I can't let you back there. It would violate health regulations.
We won't tell the inspector. Honest.
The answer is no. Not without a warrant.
Enter anyway without a warrant? I'd say no. Correct? Here's the right answer. Unless you get a warrant first, any evidence you find there would be inadmissible in court. It's dangerous in an abattoir unannounced. If you search and find anything, it will hurt the case.
Hey, Mr. Wang.
One moment, please.
Check out the Rolex.
Sorry for the interruption. One of my butchers has a problem at home.
Mr. Huang, could I ask you where you got that watch?
This? It's just a knockoff. I got it from a guy on 5th Avenue.
Mind if I take a closer look?
Now look here. Enough with the suspicious questions. I'm an American citizen and I got my rights.
Sounds
So
like
it seems like we got the... Try again for a better score. And we missed so So if we hit replay scene, do you want to replay the scene and try it for again? You can right click to skip dialogue. Yes. Let's try this.
Writing in your...
It's not a
Right click, 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 right click.
Right.
This is a great example, though, of just how there's nothing here.
farm.
Mine.
Let's see. Let's ask about slaughter.
You slaughter your animals here on the premises?
Sure, naturally. Look, my client wants to come in, select an animal, and take home the meat the same afternoon.
Does your client generally want to watch the slaughter?
No, that's against policy. Our abattoir's a separate space in back.
Past the plastic curtain.
Correct.
Yes. And then this is where we messed up. And we still messed up. Was I really supposed to get... Let's ask about the business license.
They actually gave you a license to run a slaughterhouse in the city. It's not against code?
Of course I've got a license. I've been running this establishment for over 25 years, buddy. Check with the city if you don't believe me.
My partner doesn't know much about slaughter, except the human-on-human variety.
We found the red herring. Let's ask
How
about the
many
employees.
you got?
6, 3 in front, 3 in back.
You look into their backgrounds before you hire them?
They're all citizens, detective.
You sure about that?
Listen, I serve immigrant customers, so I hire immigrant workers. Good workers. Just because a guy wasn't born in this country, does that make him a murder suspect? That sounds like racial profiling to me.
Yes, there's something odd, I guess. We've never said anything about murder. Racial profiling is a legitimate tool of law enforcement. Not really. I wouldn't agree with that. So I totally missed the fact that he mentioned murder.
I don't believe I said this was a murder investigation.
Well, what else would it be?
Let's see. ID.
This guy ever come in here?
No.
Look again.
Mr. Huang, I thought you said you serve everyone here. How can you be so sure you haven't served him?
Yeah, what I mean is everybody but wasps. His type usually like that meat wrapped in plastic.
And see, this guy's supposed to be Chinese, but he doesn't sound like he's being voiced in any realistic Chinese voice at all. He sounds like a New Jersey person. Some New Jersey white guy is voicing a Chinese person, and he doesn't particularly look too Chinese either, I would
We'd
say.
like to take a look inside your abattoir if you don't mind.
Out of the question.
Oh, I guess a
We're
little bit.
investigating
Yeah.
a serious crime, Mr. Huang.
And I'm running a business. I can't let you back there. It would violate
Yeah, the
health
voice
regulations.
acting versus
won't
the
tell the
animation
inspector.
is way
Honest.
worse.
The answer is no. Not without a warrant.
No. And so, at the very least, we get the ace detective on everything.
One.
And see, we can right-click all you want, but the animation of people walking and all of this can't be skipped.
Check up.
Sorry for the interruption.
Mind if...
Now look here.
Sounds like a no.
So, like, an incredible waste of time to do it a second time. So I seriously doubt we will be doing that anymore. We'll just go forward and fail fabulously.
This guy's hiding something.
And you're basing that on...
He's wearing a Rolex. The victim's wife told us he was missing a Rolex, one he never took off.
So wearing a Rolex is now illegal.
So now we're going
He
to
refused
introduce
to let
the
us check out
law
the back room of
order,
his meat market.
the
Jensen had
law
avian
side
blood.
of it to
That
try to
room's the
get
best spot in the
subpoenas
neighborhood to
and
find
warrants.
dead birds. There's Something
makes
back
more
there
sense.
he doesn't want us to see.
The split between the two
Spare me.
characters.
As it stands right now, there isn't enough evidence to suggest probable cause. Give me a reason to believe that there was something worse than slaughter going on in that room, or you don't get a warrant. And no arrests unless you've got something physical to tie this guy to the victim.
Nina Haversham, 32.
So she showed up just to tell
Wait a
us.
minute. Nina Haversham. She was one of the suspects in the preppy jogger case.
So?
Van Buren took us off that one.
Yeah, but remember that little speech he gave back in February? All detectives are encouraged to ask about crimes they're not currently investigating. It's all about spreading the widest possible net. Well, the case may be closed for now, but the net's still open.
Hey, well, happy fishing, partner.
Hey, you know that meat market sells cow skulls?
Now, I know that definitely isn't on your diet. Look what it says in the logs. 3 weeks ago Tuesday, we got a late-night complaint about noise coming from the meat market.
How late at night?
1:45 a.m. Then, 2 weeks ago, also on Tuesday, the same noise complaint.
Let me guess. Same thing happened last Tuesday.
About 15 minutes before Neil Jensen was wounded. What do you think?
I think we've got our warrant.
What?
All right, then. But at least let me watch.
I'm sorry, it's against policy.
Like,
Okay,
what
well, we found our
ridiculousness.
bird blood. I'm still not sure what else we're looking for.
Anything that'll tell us what was going on after hours Tuesday night, and whether Neil Jensen was in on it.
So, another perfect example of just a ridiculous writing. They waste time to animate a scene, doing background and facial animations and writing dialogue to tell us we can't get a warrant. Then they take us back to another scene and we find noise complaints, which somehow is going to get us a warrant. Like, just because they say it's going to get them a warrant. Alright, and there's a lot of things here. And it's just scrolling here because this is, I don't know, an iOS. It's designed to work on iOS. This still very much feels like it was designed to run on a Wii system, even though it didn't ever come out on a Wii. I suppose it's very possible. Is this a mop or is this a long sword of some kind? I suppose it's possible that you would
That's a hell of a lot of blood.
you would
Could've
make
come
a
from
game for the
pig or
Wii and then
something.
not
Yes,
release it
why
on
would
the
you
Wii.
wrap a pig in a blanket. I mean, a real pig in a real blanket.
Let's take it back to forensics.
So now we have a bloody blanket. Here's a potential weapon.
Think this could be our murder weapon?
I don't think so.
Do we need boots?
This could do a guy in.
Sure, but not our guy.
Any number of knives.
Van Buren said it was a short, curved blade.
This looks interesting, so I'm going to circle around it. And here we have some short
Hey, look at
curved
this.
A
blade.
short curved blade.
What do you want to bet it's a match for the murder weapon? Wonder what it is.
Doesn't seem like anything a butcher would use.
It's a box cutter. It's designed to go around the fingers to cut up boxes, cardboard boxes, and the bundles around cardboard boxes. They have a more safety, plasticky version of it, but that is used more these days. You may have even seen a similar thing in receiving certain items where it's a flat plastic thing with a pointy piece of plastic and a razor blade hidden in the edge so that you can't actually rub your finger against the razor blade. Looks kind of like a letter opener. I really hate how this system works though. Of every time you circle, it counts against you.
Now we're cooking.
What's that?
A ledger. And I got a feeling these ain't sales of ground round in here. They look like bets.
Looks like NJ owes a bundle to EH.
EH. Edward Wang.
Well, if he gave his Rolex to him... Source of avian blood is the last thing we're looking for, I think. So let's circle this. And that wasn't right. And circle this. And that was wrong. Circle this. That's wrong. See, we're getting dangerously close to messing up here. I've got 3 options. And there's no help here, which is odd. Like, you would imagine I could click this and just click this, and that I guess does work, but it doesn't tell you. I've got 2 more choices. 2 more chances. Search in the garbage
Search
can.
the garbage?
Hey, nothing I like better than digging through a mound of chicken heads and feathers.
Earlier in the game it said make sure to search all the garbage cans, and I remembered that. And I have 0 searches left, and yet apparently the game's gonna let me keep going.
Huh.
What'd you find?
It's the carcass of a whole rooster. It's a big one, too. Why do you suppose they just throw it away?
Maybe it died of diphtheria.
Nah, it's all cut up.
So it's
Wait, let me see that
cockfighting.
blade again.
Oh yeah, those are what they put on
I know what
cockfighting.
this is. It's a gaff. They attach these to the claws of... Hey, Mr. Huang!
Box cutters used to look like that too.
I
but
think you've got some
they were
explaining to do.
smaller.
Can't wait. I got a lot of customers right now.
I was totally
We
wrong.
can talk out there if you'd rather. I'm sure they'll be interested to hear about how you're running a cockfighting ring.
Ah, cockfighting, of course. Is that, kosher? What do you think, Ray? We got enough to arrest this guy?
Yeah, I say we cuff him for the murder of Neil Jensen.
Murder? Now wait a minute, detectives. Hold everything.
Sure, it all hangs together. Jensen owed a gambling debt to Mr. Huang here, and when Jensen can't pay up, Huang starts eyeing his Rolex. Neil, thanks for 10 wonderful years. Ellie,
You gotta believe me. I didn't kill him.
then who did?
Ricardo Guzman, I think.
Where can we find him?
He doesn't have a fixed address. Moves around from couch to couch.
Take this guy in.
Wait, I got his cell number.
What luck. I'm glad you know how to follow instructions, Mr. Huang, because we've got a little job for you.
So the target guesses were 14. My guesses were 15. So I get no bonus score at all. But I don't know if the bonus score here even matters. It's not integrated into the number of stars. So these scenes are total wastes of time. And which really sucks because these scenes are probably what the whole game should be. I would prefer to be just playing a hidden object game, finding evidence, over questioning people in such a monotonous and and just lacking of any variety way. Anyways, though, that's it for this recording. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, comment, and watch every second of my videos. If you want a friend to follow me on basically any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.